In the acquisition and divestiture arena, there's a myriad of factors that come in. You have financial aspects, you have tax aspects, you have valuation aspects. Many times cross-border issues can come in any of those areas. And so a lot of folks think that you have to go to a bigger CPA firm, one of the big four, one of the nationals to get that. And I think we're a little bit unique in being a middle market firm in that we actually have specialists in each of those areas, many of which have big four experience or sort of had been there, done that on those larger transactions, and we can provide that to middle market. And I don't think there's very many firms our size who can. We sort of, I think as we've grown over the years, I sort of call it a luxury of niches in that just through our growth, we're able to allocate resources into each of these areas and provide those services, which is unique for a smaller firm. So in a transaction setting, we can provide financial services, tax services, valuation services, and a little more detail on those. The financial services, a lot of times on a buy side transaction, in other words, we're assisting the buyer. We would be able to provide financial due diligence, which can be quality of earnings, just looking over the books and records of the target. Maybe they're not audited. Maybe we really have to go in there and make sure the numbers that are presented are fair representation of the activity of the business. So it's always critical to have a financial review, obviously, in that situation. And we have folks who are very experienced both as auditors and in providing financial diligence on transactions and have done so for years. So we're obviously able to provide those services in a very capable manner. Tax also plays a role both on the buy side and on the sell side. Whether a client is selling a business or wants to acquire a business, it's important to have that done in a tax efficient way. For example, on the sell side, should I sell equity or should I sell assets? Maybe depending on how your business is structured, the nature of it, it may not make a big difference, or it could make a world of difference. But it's important to sort of have those questions answered before the transaction in case that becomes a negotiating item. Similarly, on the buy side, you may want to think about how you're going to acquire this entity legally, because if you're going to unwind it at a later date or sell it at a later date, you want to be sure that you have a tax efficient structure for being able to do that. And that's an interesting point in that people always think about, okay, I'm going to go acquire this company or I'm going to go start this business. They never think about, well, how will I take it apart? And it's important when you're on the front end, either acquiring a company or setting up a company, that you know how it's going to come apart on the back end. And so, making sure that we've got some tax efficiency built in or some tax flexibility, I think that's critical. And again, we've got folks who have done this for a number of years and can provide that kind of advice and counsel. And we also have a valuation group. A threshold question when buying or selling a business is, hey, what is it worth? It's not as easy as just Googling it on the internet because these are private companies, they're not publicly traded. So it's very critical to understand what the value of the business is, again, whether you're buying or selling. And we have a full valuation practice that can do those calculations and provide that type of analysis so that a client can be comfortable that it's a reasonable price, again, either buying or selling.